FTX Weekly, and this time it's episode 69. My name is Vishnu, and I will be covering the news for this week. A lot of interesting news this week. But before I get started, please do subscribe to our channel, like, share as well, and drop a comment. It really helps us to push the content we're trying to push. And if you have anything specific in mind as well, you can drop a comment, and we could discuss that as well. Yeah. So let's get started. To my left here, you already see the top deals, starting off with Arccos. Arccos is basically tracking an analytics app using AI. They have raised 20 million, which is a round led by PGA Tour themselves. This round was also participated by brands like Ping, TaylorMade, Cobra, Puma Golf, and Top Golf Callaway brands who participated in this round. Very interesting app, to be honest, because they cover 40,000 golf courses worldwide, and the whole objective of this app is to basically track each and every shot played by a player, where the player can go back and analyze these shots, and probably the app is going to give them recommendations on how to play better. Any golfer out there, I highly recommend you try this out. Moving on, the second funding news we have for today is from CoachBetter.com, who have been funded by led by a round by Brighteye, which is a 2.9 million seed plus round. So what the startup does is basically they have a coaching platform or a software where anyone who's interested in learning more about football, or like any, if coaches want to improve their game or improve their coaching abilities, this is the platform they would use. This investment was also, it's in participation with Zen11 Holdings, and interestingly, a 2018 FIFA World Cup winner, Steven Zonzi as well. Very interesting lineup of investors. Hopefully something good comes out of this investment, and hopefully this company can grow forward. Our last funding news for this week comes from Whitebalance, which has raised a 1.5 million round, led by Dundee Venture Capital, with participation in Bread and Butter Ventures and Techstars, who have also been quite big in the sports investment space. Um, so Whitebalance is basically an audio AI company that protects content producers from unintended content violations. It's a very cool company, another AI platform, AI tech use. We've seen a lot of investment in AI this year, especially after the whole boom of automated like content or media. And Whitebalance is one of these kind of companies who are solving this problem. Right. So let's move on to our top five funding news. And at top four, we have more deals to cover. And starting off with DAZN. So DAZN, a leading sports entertainment platform, has acquired Ada Football. Ada Football is basically a premium women's football content platform that connects fans and players. So DAZN is dedicated to has been dedicated to women's football in the past as well, especially in the UEFA Women's Champions League. And they've done a lot of innovative distribution deals in women's football. So talking more about Ada Football. Actually, a huge shout out to my colleagues, Atheria and Kathy, who recently wrote an article about there's not a lot of coverage in women's sports in general. And I think with this acquisition, that's what the zone is also aiming to strengthen its role as a hub for women's football, boosting visibility and engagement in the sport. And acquiring a content platform is the best way to do that. Hopefully, this acquisition brings out better light for women's sports and should improve women's sports. I say it should improve. It will. Our second acquisition deal that we want to cover today is PlayPulse. So PlayPulse has been acquired, but the problem is, if you read through this article, we don't know who exactly is acquiring them. They only just mentioned leading tech firm. Um, all the financial details remain confidential, and maybe over time this would be disclosed as well. But a little more about PlayPulse. PlayPulse is a fitness tech platform, or I must say, a gamified fitness tech platform. And what they have here is a product. If you can see the pictures right here, this is what it looks like. It looks more like a cycle with like these controllers which you can attach there. And yeah, this is how you would play it. I think they have a bunch of games where which will be powered basically by your own fitness abilities. Um, but yeah, really cool product. And hopefully more news comes about this acquisition in the coming days. Right. So let's move on to our fourth news for the day. This is by IBM. Before I get started with this, we've seen IBM in the recent weeks as well. They've been really involved in sports, especially in the whole AI field. They really want to get their tech out there, and this is one of their tech. So this is a partnership with the USTA, the United States Tennis Association, and what they're trying to do here is that they want to create and introduce a new digital fan feature for the US Open, including AI generated spoken commentary. This commentary provides detailed audio narration of highlight videos of all the singles matches across 17 courts during the tournament. It's honestly a really cool tech, and I would like to go a little more in detail about what technology they're using here. So basically, the AI commentary is powered by the IBM Watson X. Interesting fact about the whole IBM Watson series is that when they first came out with this technology, they wanted to use this in the medical field. But as and when they're developing this, the data they collected, they thought that they could pivot to a lot of different applications. And that's why we are seeing this application in sports today. And as we speak right now in the US Open, which is like super cool. This technology is trained on AI powered tennis language that operates on a hybrid cloud infrastructure. And additionally, though, the AI draws analysis and projects player advantages and disadvantages, which is really cool. So basically, what that would mean is that players coming into play, you would see like an advantage and disadvantage for each player competing with each other, and this would also help like players get an idea of the competition between the two. And yeah, it's really cool tech, and hopefully, when the US Open starts, it'd be really interesting to see how this works. So this feature is available on the US Open org website, or it's also available on the app, the US Open app. The tournament will be starting from August 22nd to September 10th. So please like check out this tech. If you find really cool, you can come back and drop a comment on this video as well. So let's move on to the third news of the day from AO Startups. Another tennis news. So AO Startups is basically Australia Open's accelerator program, and with this news, what we understand is that they have selected 7 startups to pilot their cutting edge technology to show their cutting edge technology for the 2024 Summer of Tennis. So again, if you want to know more about these startups, you can look through this article. They have mentioned the details of each startup, but yeah, I would say it's a balanced selection where they have companies catering to the activity and hardware sector and also in the tracking analytics going towards AI as well. So yeah, very interesting companies. But yeah, very good initiative by AO Startups. The tech around this is all tennis oriented. So they want to bring out the tech that is going to make this game better, not just for the fans, but also for the athletes. And hopefully we see like something really good coming out of this. So let's move on to our top story for the week, and that is from FC Barcelona. Actually, I might spend a lot more time explaining this because I want to go through what SPAC is and what exactly is happening here. So to start off, Barcelona plots a 1 billion Barca Media SPAC, or some people say SPAC, and also sell their Barca Vision stake for 120 million. So FC Barcelona plans to raise capital by floating Barca Media content creation arm on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange and other markets. The move involves Special Purpose Acquisition Company, or SPACs, what I've shown here. The move involves deal with Mountain and Co. Acquisition Corp, aiming to generate funds through the U.S. capital markets. and expand their digital and audiovisual activities. The SPAC driven move will accelerate distribution of Barca media content, including video, social media, and esports, to new audiences. Barca Vision, the club's digital initiative focused on Web3 and blockchain, will merge with Barca Media and integrate NFTs and the metaverse into the club's offerings. Now, to further strengthen its financial position and to meet La Liga regulations, Barcelona has already sold 29.5% stake in Bridgeburg Investments. This news actually came in last week. The Barca Vision holding company was also sold for 120 million. This aligns with their efforts to address the debt of 1.35 billion. That's massive. While enhancing their digital transformation strategies. Right. So this whole move is basically, in a nutshell, to make more money. They have a debt of 1.35 billion, and they want to look at ways to, raise more money and find more investors to bring in with them, and at the same time, also enhance their whole digital transformations, solutions, and strategies. Now, I want to take the time to actually explain what exactly an SPAC is. Okay. So, SPAC is like a kind of money container that is used to help regular people invest in companies. Yeah. SPAC stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Company. It's a company that's created specifically to raise money from investors. This money is put into the SPAC with a goal of using it to buy or merge with another company. Yeah. Now, the interesting part is that when people invest in an SPAC, they don't know exactly which company that this SPAC will buy. It's like giving someone money to go shopping, but you don't know what they'll buy with it, right? Once the SPAC collects enough money from investors, it looks for a good company to buy. When it finds one, the SPAC uses the money it collected to purchase that company. This way, people who invested in the SPAC indirectly become part owners of the new company that was bought. SPACs are a way of companies to go public, meaning their shares are available to anyone without going through a traditional process of an initial public offering, or some people say IPO. It's like a shortcut of becoming a public company. However, investing in SPACs can be a bit riskier because you don't know for sure which company you'll end up owning or a piece of it. It's like playing roulette. So the thing is, SPACs were a trend in the early days of the pandemic and also a little bit coming out. Investors thought that this could be a more cheaper way of investing into companies. And also, companies find doing an IPO is very expensive. It's not easy to do an IPO. There are a lot of proceedings. You have to hire like a bunch of lawyers. You have to follow a bunch of rules and regulations. And the costs of doing this whole thing is actually very high. Um, and this is not the case with SPACs. Of course, there is some level of regulations here, but then the cost of doing an SPAC is far cheaper. Yeah, but it's far more complicated than we think, and that is why it was not very successful. But hopefully, with this, so I'm not sure how it's going to work for FC Barcelona here. We'll only find out in the coming weeks or coming months. So that is why you guys got to stay tuned to our weekly show. Please do check out our new website as well, at sportstechx.com. We have some really cool content we push out there as well, which are like blogs and articles. Also, other podcasts that we do with industry leaders in this space. Um, Also, don't forget to check out any of our channels: Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. And once again, please do like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us to push our content to all you guys out there. Thank you so much, everyone, and hopefully you guys learned a lot this week. Have a nice day, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time.